5 minutes or so to present a video, post it on our Facebook page and perhaps elsewhere. I was doing some reading in the book of Romans, chapter 1, and I want to share with you some thoughts from that. Every time I read Romans chapter 1, I cannot help but think about the same thing I'm going to share with you today, and how deadly serious it is, and yet how there are many who identify themselves as belonging to Christ who don't take it as serious as they need to. Now, I don't know when it was that I had first begun to take this as serious as I do right now, but however long ago it was, for certain, I take it seriously. Romans chapter 1 will be the Apostle Paul's effort to make it very clear to the churches of Rome, or I should say the church of Rome, that all are under sin. And this really begins and starts in verse 18 of chapter 1. But as you continue on through chapter 1, I want you to notice as we begin reading in verse 28, and I'll be reading from the King James Version, and it reads this way. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Now, what I want to focus on for the next moment or two, maybe a minute or two, is this expression here in verse 30. Consider this again, that is verse 32. Who knowing the judgment of God, think about that for just a moment. People know that there are some things that are wrong, they're unnatural. And even if it's not unnatural, they know that there are some things that are wrong. And Scripture reads this way. Who knowing the judgment of God, that they that commit such things are worthy of death. In other words, they're worthy of being judged harshly by the Lord. But here is what I want to focus on. And not only do the same, but then they have pleasure in them that do them. In other words, they promote it. Now think about that. Think about the society in which we are living. People are promoting all sorts of immorality. Years ago, when I was in the gym in Illinois, I was on the treadmill and somebody was walking right beside me, and he was talking about how he's looking forward to the next presidential election, and how he desires to have somebody in office different than who was currently in office. And he asked me what I thought. And I didn't disagree with him, but I made it a point to say I could never vote for somebody who believes it's okay to kill innocent children. And what I had in mind is the policy of some with regard to abortion. Well, that just stunned him, and he gave me the silent treatment thereafter. Well, that's true. I have no interest in promoting any candidate, any political party that thinks it's going to be okay to kill innocent children. That is murder, and this is falling upon us right now as a country about how bad it is, and then we've made it worse. We're not even sure how to define a woman, at least some in society are not. We promote homosexuality and same-sex marriage. We have the alphabet people who are so confused about what is right and wrong. Well, they are just as corrupt morally as anybody actually can be. But I don't want to focus on that to bring this to a close. I want to identify it. I want to shame it. I want to say those who identify themselves as Christians are to have nothing to do with it, and that even means in the voting booth. But I want to focus with a closing along this line. As bad as these people are, and they are bad, there is hope. There is only hope that belongs to the origin of hope, and that would be the Almighty. And it's important that we share that message, and we actually become one of His. Really, to say it, I guess, as plainly as I think I want to say it at this point. Years ago as well, longer in fact, I remember when I first started studying the gospel. This would have been roughly about 1983. And I was a member of a church from my hometown in north central Ohio, but at this time I was living in southwest United States. And I began asking questions about what is actually important in life and why it was that I was going through the experiences that I was. And then someone introduced me to the message for the first time. I had read the Bible, at least in part, not entirely, but in part. But I had looked at the Bible differently on this occasion than I had previous. And so as I looked at the Bible then, I was very much interested in knowing what the Bible taught. Well, in the course of that, I had learned that I was a member of a church that did not have its origin in the Bible. And so I wanted to be a member of that. So I learned from what the scripture had to say, and I obeyed the gospel on that day. That would have been November 1st, 1983. Well, this Sunday, we will start a series of lessons on why I am a member of the Church of Christ. And this Sunday, my focus will be because it has a scriptural builder, it has a scriptural foundation, and it has its origin in a scriptural location. I hope that you'll have an opportunity to be here this Sunday, because these are some very important lessons, in this case, this Sunday, very important points to get some consideration to, but it will be building upon that with a series of lessons coming following. So, if you have an opportunity, if you have a desire to worship the Lord, and I sure hope you do, be here this Sunday because of Him and not any other reason. The Lord bless you, and we bid you a great day.